Hello everyone, my name's Karen and today we're going to be talking about cognitive biases. But for starters, we need to know what are cognitive biases. So cognitive biases are a systemic deviation from judgment or rationality, often stemming from mental shortcuts or heuristics that the brain uses to process information. It's kind of like an unconscious self-defense system that is uniquely attributed to humans. These biases can affect interpretation, decision-making, and perception. Another way of defining cognitive biases is that our brain wants to simplify information and wants to get the largest amount of information possible with the least amount of effort needed. This mechanism is effective, but it can also lead you to irrational interpretations and judgments in the process. Although there exist about 200 types of biases, generally they are divided into two: conscious and unconscious. The conscious bias, also known as explicit bias, is characterized by an intention and an awareness. On the other hand, unconscious bias, also known as implicit bias, refers to the biases that operate at a subconscious level and can influence our behaviors and judgments without even noticing it. They are often based on societal norms, cultural influences, and personal experiences, and can affect on various aspects of life. These include hiring, our relationships, and can often lead to unintentional discrimination or unfair treatment. Now that we've seen the two general types of biases, we should explore the most famous ones, and so I'll be talking about three specific ones. First of all, the most popular, confirmation bias. The confirmation bias is a tendency to listen more often to information that only confirms what we already believe. Some examples of it are the kind of things that you ignore when it comes to, global warming or gun control, because you only want to look at information that you already believe or agree with. Also, following people on social media that share your viewpoints and not having any other opinion. Choosing news sources that support your viewpoint and give you the facts that you need to be correct. Also, refusing to listening to the opposite side or new ideas or new ways of thinking can be a confirmation bias. And also not considering all facts and logical manner when it comes to arguments. There are a few reasons of why this happens. One is that seeking for less information helps limit our mental resources in order to take decisions, so we don't think that hard when it comes to taking a choice. One clear real-life example can be in medical settings. If a doctor suspects that a patient has certain disease, just by the initial symptoms, the doctor will do everything needed and will order the studies needed just to confirm that his suspicion was right, instead of going on a full evaluation of the potential other diseases that are disregarded in that exact moment. Another popular bias is the anchoring bias. This is the tendency to be over-influenced by the first piece of information that is given to us. For example, this bias is very popular when it comes to economic negotiation. For example, the first number that is voiced during a price negotiation is like the starting point for the other prices to be suggested. To make it more clear, imagine a real-life scenario in your case. You go to a store and you want to buy a new smartphone. So one smartphone costs $1,000 and the other one just costs $500. Just by the initial price of $1,000, you get the impression that the $500 one is a complete bargain. Even if the model is the same one, the functions are the same one, you just have these reference points and you say, okay, this one's cheaper, it's worth it. So we can often be confused and take our reference points as the valid ones instead of objectively comparing. And last but not least, the misinformation effect. This bias is a tendency for memories to be heavily influenced by what's already happened after the actual event that we want to remember. For example, if someone witnesses a car crash, they can be completely sure that their information is crystal clear, but studies have proven that memory is heavily influenced and can be easily influenced on many small details that we don't even get to notice. And another example can be shown in media, because, for example, in television, people remember the event the way it is presented on television because it's a different way of telling the same story that you may have already witnessed. And on a more interpersonal level, hearing people talk about stories or memories that you have already present can change your way of viewing the same memory just by hearing other people. Now that we've explored some of the most common biases, my advice would be to always question yourself, your beliefs, and your convictions. Never stay with the first piece of information that you have, that you're given. Always go a step further of what you think you already know. And as always, stay open to new ideas, perceptions, and arguments.